Hello. Thank you for joining me today. A year ago, I was just preparing to go off to Antarctica. It was my second visit. I go with an explorer, environmentalist named Robert Swan, and there's a small group of teachers that are able to go along on this trip because it's quite expensive, as you can imagine. And this year, more than ever, last year, I wanted to bring my students with me. And what I did was I built up a website. Ahead of time, I put down all of these lessons. So, for example, how do we get there? What is Antarctica like? A lot of people think it's just a bunch of ice. I taught them about the wildlife and was able to add pictures and information. The children were able to go back and forth between these lessons to learn more as they followed my journey. So, I prepared to go. I put up the lessons. I let them know where it was. I also connected with schools around the world. I had some schools write to me beforehand, and I Skyped with some schools and Google chatted with other schools all the way until I got onto the ship in Argentina because I still had Wi-Fi. Now, this time I was on a ship where we did have Wi-Fi, but the problem with that can be the amount of megabytes it takes to upload. So I found a student at my school, an upper school student, who was my editor. So this is a Google site that I built, which actually is quite easy. And the more you're working with it, the more you learn what you can do with it. And it's brilliant. This is one of the templates in the Google sites. Then he was my editor. So from Antarctica, on the ship, I was able to send him emails, and I was able to send pictures. Now, one thing that I did, I had my laptop, my MacBook with me, but I wished that I had an iPad because it uploads much faster and uses less megabytes. So now I do have an iPad, so next time I'll have that with me. But nonetheless, there I was in the middle of the ocean with a bunch of whales around me, and I was able to send information to my website. So what I did was I had a blog. So here under Frozen Blogs, I blogged in two ways. So I blogged here. I started from Argentina, and I was able to add pictures, which, as you know, for young children, brings everything to life. And I gave them an example of what we were doing that day and what we saw and how I felt when I was on the Drake's Passage, how I was ill. Then they were able to follow the expedition here, and then they were able to link to Blogger. Now, what I found out was you have to have a Gmail account to write on the Blogger site. Our school has gone Google this year, so all of our students would be able to write to me. But as I'm dealing with students worldwide and schools worldwide, we're following. What I would do in future is add a second link to another area where they could write to me, and I could access them. But nonetheless, I was able to explain everything that was going on, and I was able to see their comments asking me about, this is a child from my class who wrote to me, and my class wrote several times, and I was able to reply. And for them, this made them feel like, wow, we're there with you. So I continued to blog the whole time. Then, other things I was able to do, I was able to upload in Argentina videos, which, again, is a very powerful way to bring everything together for young children. So in Antarctica, I was able to upload some videos to YouTube, which hooked onto my Google account. But then I found I was using up too many megabyte cards, so I actually said that I would post these, and I held off until I reached internet access, which there are some science stations which you do get internet. And my favorite video, I'm just going to share, it's very short with you, just to show you how you really feel like you're there, is this. So you can imagine when the children watch the mother feeding its baby, how they all of a sudden are transported into standing there in Antarctica watching this. So this is all very powerful with young children and even older children to really get a feel. And I'm going to let you watch this for another minute because something really funny is going to happen. And this brings up lots of discussions about the animals. And it makes the children really understand and want to care for that wildlife in Antarctica. I work a lot with wildlife, and that was one of my main goals with this website. So you can see the mother, just like any mother, is starting to get tired of the child's constant demands, telling the child, please go away, go away. The child says, no, Mom, I want more. The mom says, well, a little bit more. And then, the thing that gets everybody smiling and laughing is this next part. Okay, so through the use of these videos on my website, I was able to give information for the older kids. There's a lot about sustainability, about CO. We had a lot of experts with us, and I recorded their videos. Then I also learned a lot from doing this website, which is next time I will also bring a GoPro camera and add even more video to this, because it seems that the kids really react the most to that. My plans for the future are to continue with this idea, but to go deeper with it. I will be going back to Antarctica in 2 years with Robert Swan for his return journey. He did a journey, it'll be 30 years since he did In the Footsteps of Scott, where he walked 900 miles, totally unsustained. He didn't do the return journey walking back, but this time he's going back and he'll be using totally sustainable energy. So I will be using this website now to follow that, not this website, my new website, that will also link to his website called Global Kids. There will be a place on the new website for teachers to actually add information and share what they're doing in their classes, as well as places for teachers to get information, which there is here as well. So I've got lesson links. So let's say you want to link to this lesson, and teachers will know where to go. There is a lot out there, but sometimes if it's all in one place, teachers are more able to use it, because as you know, teachers' time is spent doing a lot of other things. So I would like to do this, where I have teachers very involved, students very involved, and I know that technology keeps evolving, where I'm hoping to be able to do some live broadcasts from Antarctica. I will also, another thing that's I would like to do is have an area on this where I have a fictional student from each continent, where students can actually talk to them. They know that they're fictional, but nonetheless, they can write to them, and I'll write back answers. So how it's like to live in the rainforest of Brazil, or what it's like to live in Vietnam during a monsoon. So all of this is making children more aware, and not only do I want them to think about Antarctica and why Antarctica is an important place to preserve, and how Antarctica's preservation affects how we live our lives here and our future, but I also want them to think about their lives where they are, their lives where their friends are, and worldwide. So bringing these issues forward to children, giving them more information in an easy place to find it is very important. So my kids have all gone on this website, plus other schools, and written back to me and said that it was quite easy to use. And I did find that the Google sites are pretty self-explanatory once you get into them. So anyway, I look forward to my next web classroom in Antarctica in 2016. Thank you.